GM, Fox fam. All right, we're going to get started now. Looks like we've got a good crew in here. We won't have our normal full audience today because we actually have a really exciting V2 soft launch that's happening. So there are quite a few of our engineers that are going to be plugging away with some of our ops people while we're still talking about governance today. So there'll be a go no go that actually happens after this in the engineering all access channel. So everyone at this call is certainly invited to check out that go no go, and we should have a pretty exciting launch with some testing instructions for the rest of the community. And for the first time ever, the V2 of ShapeShift, the open source wallet that we've all been working really hard towards building here in this DAO. So super exciting news there. If this is your first time joining us on the governance call, we have a Zoom posted inside the stage chat there where you can follow along with our slides. I'll also be posting these slide deck in the recorded meetings channel afterwards. So anyone who's doing any aggregation or who would like to follow up and get some hyperlinks to some more details about the proposals we discussed today, you'll be able to find all of that in the recorded channels, our recorded meetings channel. I want to give an extra special GM to Eric today. He called me out on my lack of GMs earlier, so I got to make sure that I say GM as well right back. GM to everyone, and a GM to Gray Machine as well. GM to GM for this beautiful, awesome token reactor gift that we've got playing on our slides right here. That was also turned into a really great POAP for anyone who voted on the Tokemak vote for our core reactor. So I know that Giant Ken, Pete, and Toasty are working hard behind the scenes so we can get those POAPs dispersed to everyone who voted. And there will be more details about that later. But we'll also have some conversations about Tokemak today from Hunt, Eric, and maybe anyone else who's got some things to say about Tokemak. So let me get my cursor on the right thing so I can go through my slides. Our agenda today, we're going to do what we normally do. We go over our recent proposals that just passed, current proposals that just made it into vote. There are a couple of them that literally just snuck in right before this call. So I hope my votes are updated to the most recent numbers there. And then we've got some upcoming proposals that are in ideation in the forum that we'll talk about. And then some other posts that were made in the forum, and then we'll leave some space to discuss any future ideas, proposals, things like that that may be in the past that have started to fall off this slide presentation, or anything we'd like to elevate through our incubation part of in Discord so we can get some great proposals out of thoughts from the community. Feel free to post any sort of questions inside the stage chat, and we'll have one of our mods pin it so we can be asking those questions throughout, or raise your hand and we will bring you up as we get to our individual proposals as we go down the slides. We're happy to get all questions that you might have here in the community on a specific proposal answered from the horse's mouth, the person who proposed it. So we'll be running through all of those right now. And to start off too, I'd always like to just point this out as it's going to be undergoing some changes, and we're going to have some new data and stuff inside here. The governance tracker that has been created by NeverWas and recently lovingly updated by Miss. It's going to be undergoing some changes. Some of the data will be fresher. We're going to clean up some of the old forum posts that aren't there anymore, as well as start to provide some cool new stats about metrics on the proposals that got the most votes, where we stand inside our different sort of hard quorum, soft quorum. And next week, hopefully when a lot of this stuff is updated, Miss will be up here on stage with me to go through some of that with the rest of the community. So we've got some more exciting details, but if you'd like to get a kind of 1,000-foot view of everything that's going on in our governance process right now and get all of the details with all of the links, this governance tracker is the best place to go do it and see it. So please take advantage of that and tip Miss for all of her hard work. Moving on to our first proposal, we've got the proposal for $1 million in Fox and RUNE token swap and a joint LP with THORChain. Do we have Willie Fox in the audience? Is he out there testing with our engineers. Not exactly
I'm
sure if
here.
I see.
What's
Hey,
up, Tyler?
Willie, GM.
GM.
I'm gonna pass the stage to you to talk about what's up next with this. We got an astounding 8 million votes yes for this, so that might be one of the biggest votes we've had so far.
Thanks, Foxes, for all the support on this proposal. It has officially passed. THORChain is ready to move. The blocker is that the Gnosis safe cannot hold native RUNE, and we need native RUNE to be able to deposit liquidity on THORChain, and that's what we're going to be receiving in the token swap. So we'll be working with Michael Perkland to set up THORChain multisig on behalf of the DAO so that we can receive the RUNE and manage the liquidity. So he is in town this week. So it's going to be a somewhat technical process, and he has to put together some documentation for it because there's not apparently instructions in plain English yet. You got to be pretty technical, and I'm not that technical. So I don't have an exact ETA. I need to connect with him and see how soon we can do it. I know it's definitely something that we're interested in knocking out ASAP, and I'm hopeful we can work on it together this week while he's in town.
Nice.
Hopefully by
Is that
next
the only
governance call, we'll have an update.
Nice. Is that the only blocker that we've got for that pool getting started as well, or is there some more mechanics that we'd have to follow through so we can actually do trades from Fox on the Thor pools?
Yeah, so you can trade Fox on the Thor pool right now. In fact, it's actually a funny thing to maybe we can discuss, not now, but soon. In the new open source web app, when you guys see it, the default trade pair is ETH to Fox. And we were thinking about maybe making it BTC to Fox. Could be fun. And actually, the transaction fees for doing a BTC to Fox trade might actually be cheaper, I think, than doing an ETH to Fox trade.
I think that's a great UX decision. So I hope we can do that in the new wallet soon. So thanks, Willie Fox, for all of that. And if you're looking for more information on what's going on with THORChain and stuff, I'm sure there'll be announcements from Willie and Michael Perkland once we've gotten those RUNE and we're on to the next step. Moving on, we've got the proposal for the Treasury Management and Diversification Committee, the TMDC, and that just passed. That was proposed by Danielle. Congratulations, Big D. And the rest of the crew there. Are you out there or is someone from the TMDC in the audience to hop up on stage? Happy to. There you are, D. GM.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. Hey, everybody. We're really excited. You can follow along with what we're doing in the Tokenomics public channel. But we passed. We had our first official vote already today, and we're going to be moving the 5 million Fox tokens to match with the 5 million Fae. So yeah, we're hitting it hard and going fast. So thanks for the support, everybody.
Thanks, Big D. Yeah, and you can find everything that's going on with you guys inside the Tokenomics. Is there a public channel there for your guys' discussions and what you guys are doing on?
Yeah, there's a public channel there, and then there's been some talks. I think we're going to create a forum post just to kind of keep track of all the votes, keep track of anything that we're doing so everyone can see it and be really transparent.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been lurking in there and I see some really great ideas for how you guys can get different risk management sort of styles mapped on there so you guys can make the best decisions. So I'm really excited we got the big brains in the room that we did. And congratulations again on your proposal passing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you meant to, Tyler, but you muted yourself just in case.
I was literally speaking so eloquently about everything and no one heard anything. So, but good to see you, Mogi. Love to have you do a little discussion about your redesign of the ShapeShift help desk.
Sure. Hey guys, a few hours ago, my proposal to get the help desk landing page redesigned was added to Snapshot. Sorry for any confusion that caused, Tyler. I know it was kind of last minute. The voting for
Hey,
that
no,
ends on Tuesday. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. I was just gonna say, no worries. Anyone can sneak them in last minute. Happy to update the slides.
Yeah. Uh, the voting for that ends on Tuesday, November 23rd. Last I checked, there was already 200K plus yes votes, so that's off to a great start. We currently have 3 people interested in the job, and from what I've seen of their past work and web design skills, all 3 seem very capable. Crypto Meg and myself will be meeting with these candidates, given the proposal does end up passing, to see who is the best fit. And thank you to everyone who has shown support so far. Also, GM.
Yeah, GM Mogi, thank you. And yeah, this 223,000 votes that I have was updated at 250, so I'm sure it'll probably be updated by the end of this call as people log on to Boardroom or Snapshot and get their votes in there. But if you haven't yet, this is still super young, and this is a great improvement that is direly needed in our support side for us to get our help desk some clean new graphics and skins to match the rest of the cool DAO as we move forward. Thanks for hopping on stage, Mogi, and letting us know what's up. I hope that it passes, and I hope we get a cool new help support desk out of this.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tyler.
And all right, on to our next one. We've got the SCP-39, the proposal to create Community Moderation Workstream as an independent workstream. And this one is posted by and proposed by GK. He's actually not here right now. He's seeing his son in a performance of The Christmas Carol where he's playing Bob Cratchit. So everyone wish GK's son to break a leg on such a cool thing. And I'm excited that GK can take a little bit of time away from this Discord because he is the RoboCop that is here all day and all night doing things. So I'm going to go a little bit over this proposal here. But one of the very first proposals that we had was for GK and Hunt to become our C mods, and they were hired on for 4 months. But they never got a full work stream. We were very early on in the process of the proposals and understanding how to develop these work streams. And now that we've had some work streams be established and had some guidelines around that, GK and the crew helping him out have really figured out something I think that can live on inside our current colony setup and allow our CMODs to grow and scale with the DAO and all of the different platforms that we're currently using and operating on. So this would establish that moderation work stream inside our colony, and it would fund it through June 2022. And the current goal is to provide 12-hour moderation coverage, and this would be between the workstream leader, GK, and then one mod helper right now that's listed for this budget. And if they scale up, it looks like we might be able to add more mod helpers as well. Some of the stuff that GK and this mod team will be doing is all the bots that are going on inside of our Discord. They do a lot of shuttling around of different community members as they reach out for bits of information or might report support issues or bugs. So they have a vast knowledge of the things that are going inside the operations triage process. Who to tag when we need to get engineers answering specific questions. They help create all of our partner channels. They also do things outside of Discord as well when it comes to Zoom, when it comes to us getting a grasp back of our Telegram and all kind Reddit, Twitter. There's a whole bunch of things in which our CMODs are kind of loosely connected to with other work streams like the marketing growth support or the operations work streams. So definitely one of those work streams that is kind of a puppet master all over the place, but if they're doing their jobs really well, you usually don't notice them at all. So the only thing you might notice is GK because he's all over the place. So this is a great proposal. I'm super happy that they were able to develop this into a full work stream with some clearly defined goals and potentially some metrics on how this can grow out there. Similarly to that previous proposal, it's still very young, and we've got some time, but just a little bit of votes there, 240,000 votes. So if you haven't made a vote there yet and you care about your local GK, please put a vote out there for him, and let's make this work stream get established. All right. Moving on, we've got the Create and Fund a Tokenomics workstream that's been posted by Kent. And Kent just hopped on. How's it going, Kent? GM?
Good day, Tyler. How's it going?
Doing well. I'm super excited about the launch today. So doing a governance call and a launch is slightly overwhelming, but like there's enough Red Bull to keep me going.
Red Bull and adrenaline. Yeah, awesome. It's so cool to have the launch happening, and I know the engineers have been working so hard on it. So that's a huge milestone. Hey, speaking of Christmas Carol, it occurs to me that the character of Ebenezer Scrooge would be really aptly played by Gary Gensler. So I don't know if GK's school is looking for somebody to play that role, but he would really fit the bill.
What a dad joke. What a dad joke.
I know, and I'm not even a dad, just a cat dad. Anyway, yeah, so alongside all this other fun stuff, we have this proposal that I just formally submitted to the DAO. Kind of got goosebumps doing this as a former centralized Fox. It is really cool to be able to present something to the DAO. This relates to the creation and funding of a tokenomics workstream. We've talked about that a fair bit over the past few weeks here. If you don't have any context on that, I suggest you jump into the forum and look at the draft proposal I submitted in the Tokenomics forum. That has the most context and details. That progressively got pared down in the ideation process just to keep it more readable, and then Snapshot has limits in terms of how much data, probably some limitations of on-chain metadata it's submitting. So I couldn't actually submit the whole thing there. I had to pare it down further. But yeah, check out the proposal, give it a vote if you're interested in it. I think this is such a nice dovetailing of the other thing we have going on here, which is that freshly created Treasury Management Committee. There's just naturally so much overlap between those two things. I'm on that committee, and as Danielle mentioned, we've already jumped in and made our first had our first deliberations. Yeah, I'm hoping that it's a yes on this, because I really look forward to working with all of you and helping to make ShapeShift or make the DAO even more awesome.
Yeah, and don't let that current vote results fool you. If those earlier proposals were new, this one is a premature baby. It just went live about 30 minutes ago, so you couldn't even vote on this guy until right about this call started.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you, Kent. Really excited for you, excited for the committee, excited for the work stream to be formed, and can't wait to see all the crazy cool ideas you guys come up with on how we can push Fox forward and make our treasury of the DAO the best DAO treasury available.
Amen.
All right. I wish I could update this slide to something better than just a new loading GIF, but unfortunately, that's where we're at currently with ideation and boardroom. If you haven't followed the process, there's a pretty clear template. I see a Willie Fox jumping on stage, so maybe we do have an ETA or a timeline on this. But I would say that there's some pretty clear templates that people have copy and pasted, or you could follow if you have a proposal that needs to make it into ideation that is in the forum, and the details are linked right there below this GIF. What's going on, Willie?
Yo, I got a quick update because I talked to Kevin from Boardroom earlier today. So don't have an exact ETA for when ideation will be fixed, but they have identified a solution, and the solution involves them basically replacing Ceramic, which was the blockchain where all the ideation stuff was being stored before, with Arweave. So they think it's going to work a lot better and be better UX. Users won't have to migrate their Freebox profile over to ceramic or anything like that. But that's a little bit of why it's taking so long. They are releasing kind of a new version of Boardroom on Tuesday. It's going to be updated UI, some new functionality, and so that's what they've been focused on. Just also on this note, they're also going to be releasing a very cool new version it's kind of a new application that's for people who are full-time DAO contributors who are really focused on DAO stuff, and we're going to be getting early access to that on Tuesday. We'll be the first DAO who has the ability to test and play around with it. So more to come on that soon. But if anyone's interested in getting early access to that and sharing your feedback, I'll probably share a forum where you can submit your address and your Discord handle so that Boardroom can reach out for feedback. We are by far the most active DAO on Boardroom. And one of the cool insights they shared with me was that they see, we get about 400 voters on every proposal, which is great, but we get thousands of more active users every month coming and visiting Boardroom, reading about stuff, but not voting. And it's pretty cool. They've been interviewing some of these users, and that's helped kind of inform their roadmap. So I got a pretty cool sneak peek of it. And on Tuesday, we'll be able to open it up to anyone in the DAO who wants to check it out.
Yeah, awesome, Willie. Super exciting to have some movement and traction there. And finally, a lack of the blame game between Ceramic and Boardroom, and a complete answer to how they can support all of the stuff that we're trying to get in there. So that's super duper exciting. Thank you. Also, if you haven't seen, there's a awesome cat dad competition going on in the stage chat. If you want to post pictures of your cats and show how much of an awesome cat dad and or mom you are, people will put emojis underneath them and appreciate them. Now we're moving on to all of the things that are in the forum posts. So these are our posts that are in our form of official ideation in the forum. So Steve Brew, Diggy, I know GM said he wasn't going to be able to make it, but so Diggy might be doing double here. GM, Diggy?
GM Tyler. Cool. I'll speak for Gray Machine since I think he's running an errand or something. So he has a proposal up to create a creative services group within the product workstream. Super excited. We've had a lot of conversations with him around this. And basically, I'm sure you guys all know, he's producing a lot of content already, like on a bounty basis. And we definitely think that there's a need for this to kind of essentially become a full-time role and roll it up onto the product work stream. So his proposal just talks a little bit more in detail about that. I think the goal is right now to get approval to have this group live on the product work stream, and then we will add budget in for this group if it gets approved into the next proposal we do when we propose to fund the product workstream for the next round. But yeah, I encourage everybody to take a look, and I'm sure most of you are already familiar. Oh, he's in the audience actually, so we can bring him up.
Yeah, let me bring him up on stage. Invite sent. GM?
GM Gray.
Hey there. Hey, I just walked in and I think I just caught you talking about the thing. Is this where I talk
Perfect
about
timing.
Yeah, go
great.
ahead.
Thank you. Sorry for I would have arranged to be here for the whole meeting, but my wife's out of town this week, so I had to pick up a kid. So I missed what you covered, but it sounds like you were talking about the proposal. So I'll try to not overlap too much. So there was a proposal posted in ideation that passed, and hopefully it will go to snapshot. I have to kind of figure out next steps, but the summary is that the proposal is to create a creative services group within the product workstream, and in doing this expands the function of the product workstream into a product and design workstream. And Diggy and I have already talked about this, so this is not news to her. All of that would have to be kind of written into the guidelines and bylaws of the product workstream. That would happen in the next proposal. But to talk about the creative services group, the high level functions would be to handle design services for all work streams, for marketing, for unification, for learning, for support, anything that needs design support. And largely this is a lot of stuff that I've already been doing. for ShapeShift, kind of on bounties and then sort of like side contracts and like things that might have been added to contracts, but then were bountied in addition to that. So I've handled a lot of, you know, like the marketing stuff and newsletter design and POAP design and video work and all that kind of stuff. So it's largely the stuff I've been doing already. In addition to that, I would see the group functioning as a design management group for the talent, for the design talent that we have coming in, because we have a lot of designers, graphic designers, animators, video creators, and stuff like that coming in, and we need a way to kind of match projects to designer. Once we get to the point where we're just kind of in a, you know, we have more design work than one person can handle, and we've got other people. Sorry, I've got Teams going off here. IT is messaging me about my broken computer. Creative talent management as well. So sort of doing hands-on design work as well as managing creative talent as well. So matching designers to projects, and in addition to all of that, just providing overall branding guidelines to content creators. The overall goal is just to kind of to maintain the branding of ShapeShift, right? So we've got this really great brand. As we decentralize and open source, it's a lot of excited energy and a lot of chaos, and it's easy for things to go off the rails. So having a support group that keeps our image in alignment with the brand, I think is critical. So that's really about it. I don't want to take up too much more time. I mean, what makes me qualified to do this? I currently work as a product manager, somewhere between a product manager, product marketing manager, and creative director for another software company. This is largely what I do. I handle product launches. I do creative design. I do design, animation, 3D animation, and 2D animation, video editing, all that kind of stuff. So this is entirely within my wheelhouse, and it's been very exciting to do. And I've had a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot from this group, and it's been it's been a lot to juggle the full-time job as well as all this stuff with ShapeShift. So I think it's a great next step to take, to kind of propose this as a full-time position. I think that's probably the quickest and most concise summary I can give without talking for another hour about all the different things we can do. But I'm happy to take any questions or go into any more specifics about the proposal.
Super appreciate you doing that, Gray, and also appreciate your prolific output of amazingly branded ShapeShift stuff. I've never seen someone turn around stuff so quickly before, so your work ethic speaks volumes, and I can't wait to have you housed inside the product work streams so we can really flesh out some design stuff and get some of those ideas into structures and systems.
Great.
Yeah, I'd just like to add the product work stream is in full support of this proposal, and we're super excited about it.
Yeah, so it hasn't gone to snapshot yet. So I think the one thing to clarify is that once it goes up, it's really more of a vote of confidence in the group and in me, in my role as director of the creative services. But the official like budget and voting in of it happening would have to coincide with the renewal of the product work stream proposal and budget, right? So I could put this up, but it's not really officially approved. It's just more of a vote of confidence in me and the process. I think it gets that one hurdle out of the way, so we're not both trying to write in the product work stream everything as well as add a new thing to it and add that layer of complexity in whatever. Do you know when that goes up? Is it maybe like in a month or so, Diggy?
It'll probably go up into ideation in a couple of weeks, and then we'll have voting on it before the end of the year, so that we're budgeted for the next round.
So this proposal really just kind of clears that hurdle of the idea of adding this little subgroup, and that I'd be a part of that subgroup, but the whole budget and all that would be a part of Diggy's proposal. Just to make that clear.
Awesome. Thanks for that clarification, and that timeline for that makes sense. And it'll be great to have you in there and give you some time before the new year so you don't have to keep juggling everything. So, I mean, I would imagine even if you're not in the work stream, you're going to be doing the same amount of artwork that you are turning it out, but it'll be nice to give you an official title for it too.
Agreed.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Diggy, while you're up here as well, would you like to chat about the alpha ideation post that you have in there as well?
Sure. Probably a lot of people have seen it. It was up in ideation for a while. I moved it into official ideation thread with a poll before we move it into snapshot. Essentially, this is to create an alpha version of ShapeShift that will have analytics and guides and things like that. And then like a first look for new features. So more of like an experimentation kind of alpha version of ShapeShift. And then once everything is like ironed out and awesome, we would move it into the version of ShapeShift that doesn't have analytics. So the proposal just kind of goes into a little bit more detail around that. And then I'm just waiting on like a final thumbs up from Mr. Nerdhair because he's doing a deep dive into Pendo, who's the analytics provider we'd like to use. And then once I get that from him, we would move this into Snapshot. So yeah, but that's about it. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Diggy. Yeah, and this has been quite a saga for those that aren't super familiar with ShapeShift's history with getting through this proposal. There are quite a few great recorded meetings around Pendo and around the subject of an analytics discussion that had a couple of great moderation conversations between security and product and everyone in the DAO, where we discussed not only Pendo as an integration, but third-party integrations in general, what hosting data could mean in that, and we broke through a lot of really great understandings on some very contentious topics, and had a great idea that was kind of pitched by Eric about doing an alpha and a beta to split this out and show the best way to host this in an open source manner and still get the great analytics and data that we can get from a service like Pendo for our product team. So thank you, Diggy, and I can't wait to get that one into proposal so we can start really getting some more information about what our users are doing while they're putzing around on the new V2. The last one up here is the long anticipated SCP-41 from Steve Brew for the Top Drawer merch store that would be selling ShapeShift merch in all kinds of forms of t-shirts, mugs, stickers, ugly Christmas sweaters, potentially even maybe our KeepKey hardware wallet. There's lots of different ways in which a merch store could have benefit, bring in revenue for the DAO, and also get us some really cool swag for us to pimp out our Fox logos and all of the cool artwork that's made by Huff and Gray Machine and the rest of the community. So this one also has a little bit of a history to it, where we actually already passed a proposal from Lorax Dude around starting up a merch store, and then we found this great opportunity from Top Drawer Merch. There's another phone call that goes into great detail of a Top Drawer Merch AMA between Willie and Steve about the history of that merch store, their relationships with top artists and crypto things, and how they can really plug in and help the DAO out. So if this were to pass completely, there is also a little bit of a kickback for Lorax Dude for all of the hard work that he has done in his previous proposal that passed, for his patience in allowing this second proposal to show up, and for potentially, if this passes, him stepping aside and allowing Steve Brew to do the merch store that is proposed here. So that is those three that are currently in ideation. Let me switch over to my slides again. And now we've got kind of, maybe this might be more of a loose conversation about what's going on with Tokemak and what happened this week, but I think there might be a few of you that maybe are just joining now and getting on your first ShapeShiftDAO governance call because you were brought over here from the things that were happening with the Tokemak core reactor, the votes that we just currently had, maybe Eric's open letter to the Tokemak community. And so would love to have Hunt come up, maybe Eric or John as well, and we can talk about kind of a recap of what happened, where we are now, and what we might be doing in the future with Tokemak and what this means for the DAO community. Because it's some very exciting stuff, but it's also similar to some of those other conversations. It's a little bit of a big brain concept, and there's a little bit of grokking that needs to happen for us to fully understand the fundamentals here. So let me send out some invites and get some folks on stage. GM, Eric.
Hey there. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Cool. All right. So yeah, you want to hear sort of the ELD.
Looks like you're having a little bit of issues with your mic or connection.
Hello?
It sounds like you get a little bit better now. Try again.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You were cutting out a little bit earlier, but it looks like maybe it's cleared up now. Go ahead and start again.
Okay.
Oh.
How's this?
Oh man, what it looks like John is out driving as well, so it might just be me talking about Tokemak right now. Happy to do that though. Sorry about the connection issues, Eric. But Eric wrote a very compelling letter to the Tokemak community when we got into the scenario where we needed to get more votes to keep inside the top 5 for those core reactors there. And this was something that you could vote with your Fox, but there was also this cool new thing that's happening in the DeFi space that a lot of people are adopting called a bribe, where we can send funds there and people are allowed to kind of hang out and wait on these bribes and see where the bribe is going to get them the most payment for their votes. And this bribe that we were able to do was for over almost $800,000 worth of Fox. So it was really cool to see the community step up when Eric kind of put his Fox where his mouth is. Hey Josh, looks like you jumped on the stage as well. How's it going?
Hey, yeah, good, good. I was just gonna be here to also talk about the Tokemak stuff because I was very involved in following it real closely. So just gonna be here to help add color to that.
Totally, yeah. I love that because I was out last week, so I'm definitely playing a little bit of catch up from those juicy community calls that I missed out on. But from my understanding, from the fast pace of what was going on, we were number 1 inside our vote that we got there, and there was a large pool. I think the biggest bribe pool was made by the Fox holders there, and within that as well, there was also another proposal that was put forward by Hunt that has not gone into ideation or anything beyond that, but for the DAO to reimburse some of the Fox that has been put up by the community to get us the core reactor. So I don't know if there's any more color on that, or maybe more color on how the core what getting a Tokemak reactor means to the DAO.
Yeah. What does it mean to have a token reactor with Tokemak, right? That's kind of the first thing. And let's see, they came on to an AMA with us. I don't know, like if it was 2 months ago. It was a little bit ago, and I love the analogy that I think they're one of their main, I don't know if it's thinkers or guys who's developed the product, Liquidity Wizard was his Discord handle. And he had this analogy that liquidity is to DAOs what bandwidth was to the internet in the 90s, right? So it's kind of one of the limiting factors to how fast a DAO can go and what a DAO can do is to be able to have liquidity. And so they have developed this mechanism to help DAOs increase liquidity in the market. And the first way that they're going to help us do that, which is going to happen really quickly, is we're going to do a token swap. And token swaps are great for us because it helps us diversify the treasury. So sometimes we do a token swap just for the sake of doing a token swap, and there's no other benefit to it. We've done that before. So we do a token swap with Tokemak, and then they stand up a reactor, and the first thing that's going to be available is you can stake your Fox. And so that's great. You can provide to a liquidity pool and then stake that right now to earn Fox rewards. But there's two things that's awesome about a token reactor staking. First, it's single-sided staking, so it only requires just the Fox token to stake. You don't have to contribute to a liquidity pool on one of the decentralized exchanges and then stake that resulting token. You stake just Fox, and then the other beautiful thing is rewards will be paid in Toke. Toke, Toke is the Tokemak token. So it's almost, they're going to basically be offering, they'll give the rewards for people to stake Fox, which is great for us because then that's not costing us any of our treasury to be able to support staking, which locks the tokens, and they're not going to be sold or be basically be sold, because that's one of the things we want to avoid is Fox tokens being sold. So then what happens next, and their plan for this is there's a couple steps, but sometime they're saying right now mid-late December, maybe that bleeds over a little bit more, but the idea is then that of all of the liquidity that we gather by doing the token exchange, and there's some of the details I'm not totally clear on, but then we'll be able to vote on where to put this liquidity, this Fox and this token liquidity. What markets do we want to fund or seed? What pools do we want to seed with this combined liquidity to, again, increase liquidity in the market, which, if you go with this, the metaphor from the liquidity wizard, is like the bandwidth to the internet in the 90s. So that's a little bit of the basics of why the token reactors are going to be so good for us. And we're super excited to be getting one. To be getting one this early is just awesome.
That was an awesome description, Josh. I can tell you've done your homework. Josh has been busy studying up on Tokemak. That was great. Yeah, I think you covered it really well. I just one thing to mention is that the liquidity that we'll be allocating, this will be mid-December. The tokens that we have will give us the ability to allocate any of the liquidity in any of the toke vaults, or at least to vote on how that liquidity should be allocated.
Right.
So Fox liquidity, ETH liquidity as well. And it'll be mid-December is the first time that they're expecting the staked Fox and the staked liquidity in all these vaults to actually be able to be allocated by toke holders. So but before then, you'll be able to stake Fox and start earning APR. And then in about a week, they're going to launch the ability for toke holders to start allocating the toke rewards. So that's another thing toke holders can do, is they can decide how much of this toke issuance gets allocated to each different reactor. And yeah, the DAO will have, depending on how much of a swap you decide to do, we will have up to $3 million worth of toke to vote. And we're meeting with them next week to go over the logistics of that token swap. So I assume soon after next week is when Fox staking will go live with toke rewards. Also got an update from Crusher. He was having some microphone issues, but he says that he plans to get this proposal up to reimburse Fox bribers in the next couple days.
Awesome. Thanks, Willie. And also thanks for posting that link in the stage chat for some more updates about the second round of reactors there, so people have some reading material to catch up on there as well. Anything else you guys want to chat about in Tokemak before we move on, Josh or Willie? Oh, Eric's up. How's your connection there, Eric?
All right, you tell me. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, it's certainly better.
Okay. All right. Well, kick me off the stage if it's jerky, but I'll try this again. Beyond the token reactor economics being super interesting, this whole episode was a really good example of DAO and DAO like community building. So most of the Tokemak community had not heard of us or was not familiar with our DAO. Many of our people in our DAO had not heard of Tokemak, but through this process, there's like a cross-pollination of people into each of these DAOs. I think this is a really cool concept in terms of marketing. Like this kind of marketing doesn't exist in corporate world, but it works great in DAO world. So I was just super impressed at how much community support we got from them and from you guys. Even though our bribe was only like a little bit more than the second place, we had like 2x the votes of that second place DAO or project. So we were punching above our weight, and I just want to thank everyone for all the participation in that. We had a really good showing, and we will get a token reactor soon, and we'll get to play around with that. So thanks.
Thank you, Eric, and you came in crystal clear.
Yay.
I want to I think there's two special Fox shout outs for this, how this token reactor vote went, and that's to Eric and John is John. So over in the Token React on their Discord server, there was some very lively conversation, and John is John was repping us so well, and he was on top of, like, when they asked questions, he was responding immediately. I was doing some support there too, but John is John was doing an awesome job repping us over on their Discord server. And then Eric's letter, which Tyler mentioned before, but I just want to call it out because, you know, the voting was, oh man, it was so fun to watch. It was so neck and neck for a while. And then one of the over in the Tokemak Discord server, one of the mechs, just like we're foxes, they're mechs, MECH, right? A mech. One of the mechs over there came out and said, hey, you know, we got to think about, I mean, and we were like, I think we were maybe the second in bribes at this time. That was really, but he said, hey, beyond just bribes, everybody, you got to think about what we're going to get if ShapeShift gets a Tokemak reactor. And he referred to Eric's letter and like all the things that were going to happen. And so that letter, I'm sure, had a big impact outside of that. But even right there, it was very obvious that this one mech called this out. And then the votes, you could really see the votes starting to ramp up in the rankings after that particular post. So big shout out to Eric and John is John. Some serious leadership on your part to make that happen. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. This was like super cool because when we were corporate ShapeShift, I always felt distant from like the cutting edge of DeFi and DAOs, and that was like kind of off on the horizon. And it's been really cool to see how quickly we've like stepped up to that horizon and that edge. So, you know, a lot of these projects that we work with, I don't know if they'll be successful or not, but it is definitely the cutting edge of crypto and DeFi, and we're right there now. Yeah, and there's, I guess, two other obligations now that I have that I promised their community. One is that I will be putting up a bounty for integration of the reactors into our interface, into the ShapeShift interface. So I'll put that bounty up, I don't know, probably in a few weeks. And then also I need to get a THORChain pool for Toke live, and I will take care of both those things, but I'm just kind of saying it out loud to hold myself accountable.
Well, we got it recorded on the call now, so you can't, no takesies backsies.
Great.
Awesome. I also wanted to add in there some context and color. I've been chatting with Toasty and Pete, who've been working tireless with GK to get the POAPs for everyone who's voted, and we had 817 people vote for Fox there. So those numbers behind what Eric mentioned earlier, that's quite a showing.
To be specific, Tyler, I think that's 817 people contributed Fox to the bribe pool to get the Toke voters to vote, right?
I actually wasn't sure if it was contributed to the bribe or just voted for Fox, period.
It's just voted for Fox, period. There are only about, I think, 13 unique addresses that donated to the bribe pool.
What?
And,
really?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Oh, and our POAP was, so that will go to the mechs that also voted for us. The POAP is not for contributing to the bribe pool. The POAP is for using your toke to vote for Fox.
Correct. Correct. And I see a Peatcoin jumped up as well. He might have some more color to add to this.
Yeah, that's correct, Josh. We with the help of Willie and Toasty's been really running this down. Giantkin deserves a huge shout out as well, helping us out, and the POAP team as well. Yeah, we're issuing the POAP to the 817 addresses on chain that submitted a vote for the Fox reactor, and then we've selected a winner of the 1 of 1 NFT, and we are just waiting for POAP to finish helping us get the final pieces in place for the distribution to happen, and then we'll be announcing all of this on our social channels. And it was great to see people coming in and claiming that, and we're really excited to get that out to the community.
That's cool. That's better than I thought, because the people who contributed the bribe pool are mostly just foxes, but lots of the toke community, clearly they were the big voters. So that's awesome that we're going to be spreading the POAP around. Love it.
Spreading the POAP love. I would just be remiss if we also didn't give a shout out to Crusher. I agree, Josh, that John and Eric were absolutely instrumental to getting that Tokemak reactor, but also Hunt too. I was really just impressed and proud with the effort he was putting in. Really, it seemed like nonstop, just around the clock, rallying the community, galvanizing the chads of the Fox community to add to the bribes to secure the reactor. Props to Crusher, and really props to everybody. I mean, just like you were saying, Pete, there were so many people involved with this effort, and it was amazing because we were able to show the whole world the power of the Fox community, and it was pretty amazing to see this community come together and see what we can accomplish. So really props to everybody. That really was one of my just proudest moments as a Fox, and something that I will never forget.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal, and I'm really stoked for the future scenarios in which we need to rally the troops. And really seeing how big of a muscle we have as a DAO together when we need to get votes on something or when we need community engagement. So that's kind of a shout out and appreciation to everyone who's been contributing to the DAO, to the marketing and growth team, and the internationalization workstream, who've been finding great people, and all of you foxes out there who've done your fair share by doing retweets, by jumping up and contributing where you can, and by being active members of the Fox fam. We really appreciate it, and it's so surreal to be a ShapeShift centralized employee and come out into this very scary new DAO world and see that you guys are interested in being a part of it as well. All right, well, we do have one last slide here. So unless there's anything else someone would like to say about Tokemak, I'm going to jump on to our last ideation posts before we end there.
Okay,
but thank you all for the color.
I just want to put in that I would like sometime to just give an update on the bounty. So, but maybe that comes after the last slide.
Sure. Yeah, is this the bounty for Eric's bounty?
Yeah, the V2. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I definitely wanted to save some space to also invite everyone to the Go No Go that's happening afterwards as well. So I will pass the stage to you after these next two updates for the last ones.
Okay.
Okay. So our last slide we've got here before we'll bring Josh back up is our new and old forum posts that maybe got some attention last time on the call, but have not moved on to the ideation phase. Or this is also a new forum post that CryptoMeg has posted as well. So Meg, if you're out there in the audience, feel free to hop up on stage. And then I'm not sure if In a Little While is out there or if you got some stage time last time to go over the KPIs, but I definitely think it's a intriguing and interesting proposition that you've presented. Hey Meg, GM, how's it going?
Hey Tyler, how are you?
Doing well, exciting times.
Yeah, I was wondering actually, nothing towards you, but I was like, man, am I supposed to talk about this? I thought we just said I was going to talk about this in our chat today. Okay, so while we have all of these super emo lovey-dovey feels towards the community and ShapeShift and how just rocking the community has been so far, and I totally agree with Eric, while I'm still wrapping my brain around the whole Tokemak thing, at the end of the day, it just shows the strength that we have. And I think that is one advantage we have coming from a centralized company to kind of going through this process of a decentralization and becoming a DAO. We do, I mean, like, as much as we want to, talk a little shit about centralization, I think it is really important to notice that that's a leg up that we have that a lot of other companies don't, that we have this kind of already set culture that's really going to drive a lot of success in some of these community initiatives. So I digress. I put up a forum post just yesterday. My team and I have committed in our official workstream proposal to take care of customer reviews on Trustpilot and through mobile app reviews. And I just wanted to clarify with the rest of the DAO community how to review with ShapeShift in the event you or your friends want to come. Oh, I just did a hand motion, but then I realized I wasn't on video. That didn't work. In case you and your friends want to review ShapeShift and help out as a DAO community member, in the forum post, I talk about Trustpilot. So Trustpilot, as you all know, whenever you go on to most, pages, they have, the 5-star review system. And right now we're standing at a 3.6 with Trustpilot. We were much higher than that. We were actually closer to the 5-star mark for ShapeShift.com. However, just with some KYC issues, as that was kind of heading out of our purview, and as some promotions ended, and people who were just bitter because they didn't get their 10 Fox or whatever, left some nasty reviews. And of course, there are some legitimate nasty reviews about, hey, I'm unable to access XYZ coin. Some of those are legit. But anyway, we want to make sure that we're going in, responding to all of these in a timely fashion, retaining these customers, trying to win them back, and or celebrating with the ones that are coming in saying how much they love the ShapeShift experience, especially while we're transitioning to this whole new DAO world. But the thing I want to clarify is there's 2 Trustpilot pages that are live right now. This is just how Trustpilot works. Once you have one, it lives forever on the internet. We had one long ago with ShapeShift.io, back when it was the very focused ShapeShift exchange, where the ShapeShift vending machine that used to exist under our umbrella. But once we opened up the platform, we opened up a new Trustpilot page. And that's the one that you want to review. So if you go to the forum post, I will post it in the stage chat here in a moment. If you want to check it out, look at the reviews so far. We want to do our best. Oh, thank you, Willie. Oh, you beat me to it. We want to make sure our customer support team is getting in there and responding to things. So that's something we're going to be focusing on in the coming weeks, as well as app reviews on Android and iPhone. Those are super important too. As you all know, whenever you're downloading an app, you want to see what kind of experience, especially in the crypto world, that someone's had. So make sure to do that if you feel called to do so, no pressure. But our goal is to incite some more reviews, and our old goal used to be 10 reviews a month. I'm thinking we might bump that up in the coming months, and we'll let you guys know at our community call next month, which I believe we just nailed the date down for that. Giantkin's not here, but I believe it's going to be December 8th. Sorry, let me look really quick. Yes, it's going to be December 8th at 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So we're going to talk about all things reviews, customer experience, agent performance. All of that's going to be happening on December 8th. So look forward to having you all there. And thank you for your time today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Meg, for showing all of that off and pointing people in the right direction. And yeah, like Willie said, I hope everyone can leave some reviews there. Leave 5 stars. I mean, you can leave less if you feel like we owe you something or something like that, but hopefully 5 stars is how you feel. I want to recognize that we are at time, but we still had 2 things to chat about. So please, if you have to run off to another meeting, feel free to catch up the rest of this on the recorded meeting session, but we'll time box a little bit of time above our hour to give in a little while the stage, and then bring Josh back up here to talk about the bounty and what's going on with V2. All right. Hey, in a little while, how's it going?
Hey, good, thanks. I'm happy to move this to a later call too, in the interest of time.
Sure.
But just other than to say that there is an ideation post that for people to be aware of.
Totally. Did you have plans on moving this further all the way to proposal yet, or would you like to see a little bit more feedback from the community before we before you get this into the next stage there? Is that where your thoughts were at?
Yeah, you hit it pretty much right on the head of the nail there. I think specifically, like, we need some feedback around which KPI to target, and just that alone would probably be enough to move forward. But that would be like asking the question of like which metric is most important, to the DAO if we were to incentivize a metric.
Totally. This sounds like something to have some deeper conversations about, and maybe even a whole dedicated call to. And so I feel really bad that we squeezed you in at 4 o'clock. That seems a little rude. So it might be.
I wasn't eager to follow the Tokemak whole conversation either. That's pretty rad. So
Totally. So I would say let's connect with you, me, and GK, and let's see if maybe we can get a 30, 45, or an hour-long call scheduled in maybe next week's calendar, so we can do a little more of a deep dive on the specifics of this, and we can get some big brains on what these KPIs could mean. And I hope that maybe we can see this really get fleshed out.
yeah, that sounds great.
Cool. Yeah, and like Ron said, tough spot on the dance card today, and apologies for that. So we will definitely make sure we give your cool proposal the time of day and the right bandwidth, so the rest of the foxes can catch up and put in their 2 sats. So we will follow up there. And looks like we got Josh back up on stage, so I'm going to defer to you now, Josh, and let you talk about all things V2 and what's going on with the bounties there.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, everybody. GM. So, all right, Web V2, we are really close, but we probably need a few more hours to fix the charts. The charts came in later in the process, and then we discovered issues with the charts just this morning. We thought we had everything good as of last night, and then we discovered chart issues this morning that were totally reproducible and frankly all over the place. And I'm kind of surprised that all of us were looking at these charts for a while and not noticing how screwed up they were. So we have fixed the ETH and ERC20 chart issues, and we're honing in on the BTC chart issues. So for those who aren't aware, ETH and ERC20s have a totally different accounting mechanism than BTC and other UTXO based coins, right? So a lot of the times when you're dealing with interacting with blockchains, getting data from blockchains and processing data from blockchains, how you do that on ETH and EVM based chains is different than how you do that on BTC and other UTXO chains. So we believe the ETH charts are fixed. And as I said, we're honing in on the BTC chart issues. We do expect that this is like a matter of hours that we can fix this, and it's not going to be a matter of days. So we want to delay the go, no go. I mean, we're going to start pushing after 5 o'clock. Tyler, hasn't been a problem for you before. You cool if we push it past 5 again today?
Of course. The ops team is going to be standing by to do tests with you whenever you guys are ready. So if we have to delay the go no go till that time, we will be ready and ready to push the buttons when you are.
Great. Awesome. And then we just have 2 more issues that we've identified both with Portis. The first is that for some users, you can't connect your Portis wallet on the new Web V2 site. And for some of those users, you can connect on beta.shapeshift.com. For some of those users, you can't connect Portis anywhere. And we've narrowed this down to, it certainly looks to us that it's on the Portis side. And we've been chatting with the Portis folks, or have great relationships with them. So that is being looked at. And I do not know if that can be fixed by tonight. So Portis may or may not work. We could discuss whether we should just take them out of the list of available wallets, just because we know for some people that it won't work. And we're not even sure what the difference is, what kind of people it works for and who it doesn't work for. And then the last issue that we're aware of is that even for people who can connect Portis, there are some issues with sending Bitcoin from your Portis wallet when you can connect. This we got people looking at it, but I'm not certain that this one can be, not as confident about fixing this issue in a matter of hours as I am about fixing the chart issue. So that's the state of things right now, really just BTC charts, this Portis connection issue, which is in the hands of Portis, and then sending Bitcoin from Portis.
I know you led with a whole bunch of bugs we still have to do, but it's not, I would say that's not really a downer. That's pretty impressive to see all the work that we've done and only have those last little things to go. So definitely like to tip my hat to the engineering team and all the work they've done to get us thus far.
Appreciate that. I mean, I think overall I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks great. Yeah, I think it's easy to navigate around. The trading over on the right is awesome. The urine flow is great. So there's a lot of, the MetaMask connection is awesome. There's a lot of great stuff to it. But yeah, that's just really, if we can fix these BTC charts, do a final round of full testing. We got the security requirements needed in. Thank you, Mr. Nerdhair. So that's it. Fix the BTC charts and we feel ready to go. Never was. You have something to add?
Yeah, Mr. Nerdhair might be pushing a PR very shortly to possibly fix the Porter's connection issues. We've been working on some stuff, and he's been plugging away at that PR, so we might be closer than you think.
So we determined that there is something on our side. That's new information to me. It'd be great.
There's a big thread down there. Mr. Nerdhair, Pasta, and a couple other people got on a call, and we think we know what's causing, or Mr. Nerdhair thinks he knows what's causing it, and he's working on something as we speak, and it should be rolled out.
That's great news. Anything else, Tyler? Any questions from anybody?
I would just say that we will have that go no go later when it does eventually happen today in one of those all access channels. So if there's any foxes that are still listening on the governance call that would like to see what one of these go no goes is like, or you've sat in one earlier, you'll be able to follow the bouncing ball when we get there. And there will also be some very detailed testing instructions that we're going to pass to not only the work streams, but everyone who's in the DAO here who can get access to the soft launch of the new V2. So Fox McCloud will be dropping that information too once we're ready to provide that to the rest of the community. That's all I had to add.
Great. That's a wrap from me then, Tyler.
Cool, awesome. Well, I'm going to bring Lo-Fi Girl back on stage, and we only stuck an extra 10 minutes after our normal hour. So thank you, everyone, for joining us for such an epic governance call today with the Tokemak and the V2 stuff going on. And make it a good GM, everyone.